let me say a little something about the next 1,444 days. In 1,444 days, it'll be January 20th, 2029, and hopefully we will be getting a new president. Until then, we're going to have to endure what we have to endure. Now, President Trump is going to be President Trump. A lot of people like that he's President Trump, and he's doing a lot of things that other people wouldn't be able to do, things that other people probably wouldn't want to do, but he's doing what he does based upon what he thinks is the right thing to do. We're not all going to agree on that because we have very different worldviews. You know, one of the things I tell people when I talk about President Trump is what he's missed out on. You know, I mean, he was a millionaire. He was 6 years old. He's always been able to buy anything he's wanted or needed whenever he's wanted or needed. He's never had to scrimp and save, work his ass off the way a lot of us do just in order to keep the lights on, you know, pay for the kids' braces and things like that. He's always had everything he needed. And he understands life from the market economy. He is pure capitalist. And over the last several years, as I gave up money for a year and I've been studying it and such, and I've talked to people about capitalism, and some people have some issues with it, want it, and some people love it. And a lot of people misunderstand it. I was talking with a friend of mine several months ago, and he was trying to explain capitalism to me as when, you know, well, I have something and you want it and you give me money for it, we have that free exchange. And that's not capitalism. That's a free market. That's just a free market. Free market capitalism is different, though. Capitalism is when you make capital the crux of everything you do. The most important thing there is capital. And where we are right now, as we've seen, with all the people who are on the dais at President Trump's inauguration, he believes that the people who own the capital are the ones to whom all the capital should go. And that's why we have this grand expansion of the wealth of billionaires, you know, people who were just a billionaire before, now they're multi-billionaires. And we've really extrapolated the idea of capitalism to this whole nth degree, where so much of the energy we put into our daily lives gets absorbed, sucked up into the accounts of the owners. You know, the owners of the capital, they get whatever. And yeah, they suck. And they suck all the energy they can out of everything we do and make sure that they're getting profits, because that's the most important thing. Now, I'm not saying that it's not important. Market economy is very important, but we've also got to realize that we have a core economy of our neighborhoods, our relationships with one another, our families, our friends, and all that sort of thing, you know? And I don't think that's something that President Trump has really engaged in all that much. You know, I don't know if wherever he grew up, was it Long Island, I think? I don't know if they had like neighborhood potluck dinners and hung out on the front porch, chatting about things and playing music the way a lot of us do, you know? I don't know if he ever had to call a neighbor to say if they could pick his kids up at the daycare or whatever, the way that we often do. You know, I don't know if he's ever put together a garden with people in his community the way that we often do. And there's a lot of wealth in that. There's a lot of value in being able to establish a neighborhood where we get along and we help each other. And we're seeing that so much right now come alive when you have these devastating incidents like in Los Angeles with the fires, in North Carolina with Helene, and even right here in Sarasota, where we've, you know, had to endure 2 different hurricanes, but we came together as a community, helped each other, and worked to lift each other out of that. That's the core economy. It has nothing to do with the market. It's not about just getting capital. It's about investing in who we are as people. And we've got to remember that. We've also got a planetary economy we're going to have to think about. Think about the value that comes with having air we can breathe. You know, think of the value that comes with having water that we can drink and soil that we can grow in. We've got to think about how much wealth is there and how we cultivate that sort of wealth. We've also got a whole gift economy. where we have billions of dollars in nonprofit organizations that we give to because they provide things for people who maybe aren't good at playing in the market economy, you know? People who maybe don't even have a core economy, they don't have neighbors, they don't have friends they can depend on. And there are those people who Jesus called the least of these that we help out through our gift economy and what we give from the excess of all that we have, of our time, our treasure, our talent. And I think moving forward, we're going to need to start thinking about those things. Now, again, Mr. Trump is a real estate dude. That's what he did. That's what he does. That's what he knows. And that's the only way he can think about it. So what he's doing over in Gaza now, well, that's the only solution he has to something. The only solution is if you have a problem, you develop something else. You make some new development, and you have people come out and spend money, and that's what it's all about. But he doesn't consider the fact that these Palestinians have a core economy. It's planted there in the land where they were born and the land they fought over for so many years, and he doesn't even consider that possibility because he's quite separate from the lives that a lot of us live. And we need to start thinking about what do we really want to be over these next 1,444 days. It's 1,371 days, I think, until the next election. And in that time, I hope we find a man who can get in there and make the decisions that really need to be made, that will mirror the true desires of the American people and allow us to move on in a more balanced way, where we're not just creating an entire world that's about money and the endless growth of these bank accounts of people who just suck all the energy out of our lives, suck it into their bank accounts so that they can feel better about themselves or make themselves feel more important than the rest of us, or really have such fear of life that they really believe they need to store up all that wealth and dam the economy so that all that wealth is not flowing through the economy. It's dammed up under their possessions because they don't feel like life is actually going to provide for them. And I feel bad for them. I really do. And I think that we need to come to a way where we need to consider, are there any limits to this at all? You know, we like to talk about the freedom that comes with being an American, especially this whole free market capitalism. You are free to make as much as you want, even if you have to suck it from everybody else. And I don't know if that's really taking us in a proper direction. And I think we may need to consider the fact that we might want to put some limits on this. How many billions can one person have? Are we really going to be watching this countdown to see who becomes the first trillionaire? Is that where we're going? So that we can pat them on the back and say, hey, thank you for stealing everything and sucking it all up into your own coffers, while the rest of us struggle to get by, lose all of our jobs to AI that's working for you to make you more capital, make you more money, yada, yada, yada. Personally, whoever becomes the first trillionaire, I want to kick them right in the nuts. I really do. How dare you? How dare you suck up that much energy and not redistribute it to the rest of the people? How about just distribute it in the first place? We get all caught up whenever anybody criticizes capitalism, start talking about communism and socialism. We've been so well trained to be so afraid of those things so that we continue to serve the market and the capitalists and the capital holders and all of that. I'm not a communist or a socialist. However, I recognize that community is important, and I recognize that society is important. I also recognize capital is important, but it ain't all important. There's a lot more that we need to consider. And a lot of people get worried about this whole redistribution of wealth. I think we just need to distribute wealth. Just distribute it in the first place and let it flow. And realize it's not just a store of wealth, like we often treat it, but again, it's a currency. It's got to flow. So I think there's got to come a time where we say, okay, you guys have enough. That goes back in the coffers. At the very least, look at what FDR did and had these tax programs where the rich were paying a lot more because they've got a lot more. And it ain't going to hurt them to put another $1 billion of the several billion they may have. It ain't going to hurt them to put that back into the community. Give us what it is that we need to be able to create a good life for ourselves, you know? So there's a lot to consider. I've been talking to a lot of my friends about my running for president, and I'm glad to run. I'm glad to do it. Or find somebody else who will. If it's me, great, I'll do it. But I don't necessarily want a job. I just want to be of purpose. I just want to be of service. I just want to be of help. As an artist, I've done all I wanted to do. Life artist and everything. I mean, I've been to all 48 states on my motorcycle so far. I've hitchhiked cross country. I've written and published 10 books. Almost published the 10th one. I've written a whole number of songs that I think speak to our situation, our condition. So creatively, I'm good. I just want to get out and share what it is that I have now. And let's start talking about these ideas of how we move this whole forward. So I hope you go to stevemc.xyz and see what I'm up to. I just put a free download of my brand new book. It's called The Unbroken Path. And I used about 26 different paradigms of human understanding and weave them together to see this journey that we're all on as we become the people we are becoming and be the best that we can be. So it's available on stevemc.xyz right now. Go there. You can download it for free. And I'm going to be reconfabulating that website a little bit. But there's also a little video on there about the foundation of my philosophy on ABC squared economics and what that means. As we are the artists of our lives, offering the service through our business, the engagement of our citizenry, and the development of our community, and a heart, mind, body, spirit approach. That's the essence of it. If you want to find out more into my history with Will Rogers and the anti-bunk party and getting over this infatuation that we've had for so long with just making everything about money, there's more we need to be able to consider. Now, our current leader, he can't. He just doesn't have the capacity to consider a lot of the things that we really need to consider. He's going to go on doing what he's going to do. We've got to go on doing what we need to do. We need to start thinking beyond just the next 1,444 days and where we're going to be going from here. So I give myself to you, America. I will be traveling again this summer. I hope to stop on the way, be able to talk to you, be able to play you some songs, and be able to talk about where we're going, what are we doing, how do we continue moving forward as a country, unify ourselves, and bring the healing that needs to be had. Because it's been a rough 2 weeks so far. It's been like 16 days, I think, since he took office. And now we've got 1,444 more to go. So a lot of people are pleased as pie about all the things he's doing. And, you know, I hope things work out for the best. I really do. But we're going to have some issues to work through. So that's just my thoughts for the day. Thank you for letting me speak and listening if you listen to this point. And I'll see you on down the road.